Good morning. Well, this is session 7. I have my tea bag brewing for my peppermint tea. I have the paint mixed. I have the video set, I think, exactly where I need it, and I think we're ready to go. And no, I still haven't came in here and actually practiced doing something with these clouds up in here that are grainy looking and just frustrating me completely. But you know what? We're going to go with it. We're going to finish this painting today. The only thing that I'm going to work on probably are these clouds, maybe just a little bit down in here where they're grainy and where I had washed out some color, and then down and finish up these little sun rays. And I don't know if I'll come on down into this tree line and just put some highlights. I may do that, just put some highlights there. So this could be a little bit of a long video, but since it's our last one, just stick with me, guys and girls, and let's get her done. All right, let's work on these clouds. And instead of just plopping the color on there with my little round brush, I think I'm going to use one of these little almond shaped brushes. And the colors that we mixed this morning, I'm going to use the darker of the two grays. And don't forget to put your color up around the top, around the edges. So let's just get some solid color on them this time to get rid of that grainy look. And then we'll come back, we'll blot it to get out the extra color, and we will highlight them then. I've been surprised while working on this little painting, how much I have forgotten in the 7 years since I painted. But you know what? That's okay. Life happens. And I'm just thankful that I am painting again now, even if I have a whole lot to relearn. And I'm really thankful that y'all are visiting with me and helping me with these. Let's get our little photo up here. We'll soften these edges with the big fat brush so that they don't look just so solid. But I am thankful for all of you that have decided to join me on this journey. I know some of you said that you're not painting, that you're just watching. That's all right. I appreciate you being here in whatever capacity. Some of you that think you would like to paint, but you just don't feel confident, just get a small set of oil paints, a simple set of brushes, and just join us and play. People get really worked up about their first piece needing to look like a masterpiece. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Let's just put some color on a canvas and play with it and get our feet wet. And that's what I feel like I'm doing, is just kind of getting my feet wet again in the world of painting. So I mean, it's kind of intense at times for me, because I was a professional artist. I sold in a number of well-known galleries in our area, and so I just feel when I started painting again, I felt like I should have known what I was doing, and I don't. So, but I'm not gonna give it up. Now that I've started back, I'm going to paint, and I'm going to paint the large paintings. I won't be doing classes on those. Those would take, 2 years to finish if I did it as a class. But I might do videos on them if y'all are interested in watching. I'll just set up the GoPro for those. Probably not a lot of talking, and I'll have Aaron and or Jared, Aiden, edit them, and so that they could be sped up in places where it's just taken forever. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and come on down in here because that really is way too faded out looking. Okay. Before I blot, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of this medium purple. If you remember, I mixed a medium purple in today's mixing video. I'm going to add a little bit of that. All right. Let's blot it just a bit. Need a skinnier brush. All right. Grab your blue paper towels. Try to be real careful. I've got dirt under my fingernails, y'all. I have been digging this morning. Well, not digging, but messing around with my chicken waterers and cleaning those out. And I have washed my hands, but I haven't scrubbed them. get a little bit more off of there. So turn your paper towels around. Let's go again. Just keep blotting until you don't see an actual raised puddle of color. Okay. Try not to transfer any color down into what you've already finished. Every now and then remember to get your little defuzzer brush, whatever you're using, and get rid of some of the hairs. All right, and I'm going to use this same brush to kind of soften my edges. It's nice and stiff. Okay, now when you're moving out toward these little wispy ones, you can actually make them wispy with your little trouncing brush. Just kind of thin that color down. Because the wind is carrying that away from the main body of the cloud, and usually it does just kind of fade into the nothingness. I left my t-shirt inaccessible. Now, one thing I will caution you against that I should have remembered myself, but I did not, is that you don't want to start working on bunches and bunches of areas at one time, because your paint will dry too quickly on you. And that's one of the reasons I ended up with everything being so grainy the other day. And I forgot again. So I'm just trying to real quickly blend where I can. But when you're doing your clouds, just keep your area, just work on one little cloud section at a time, and then go to the next area so you don't have your paint drying on you. My fingers are going to sleep. Oops, sorry. One thing that happens when your paint starts drying is that your brush that you're trouncing with will actually start picking that paint up and pulling it off of the canvas. And that's one of the reasons you end up with blotchy areas. I know better than to work in too big of an area when I'm working on a really large painting, but I keep forgetting that with this small painting because I'm working with such little tiny brushes that it kind of zonkers me. All right. Let's find us a little brush and go ahead and start putting some highlights. I'm not going to really fight any longer with these. We're going to move along and get this painting finished and go on to the next one. All right, let's see. Let's put some of the pale gray that we mixed, the palest, just gray. Let's just brighten these clouds up at the top because it will be picking up a little bit of ambient at the very outer edges. And these little legs that are going on further on out will get lighter and lighter. All right, now let's stop right there and do what I said I needed to remember to do, which is to go ahead and blend this color before it starts drying. Really should just spend some time studying the clouds I used to. And when you're outside working in your yard, just take a little time to look at those clouds. And notice the formations. Notice what's going on with them, and so that you can use your imagination when you have a painting that's, or a photograph that's just kind of not cooperating as far as giving you the detail you want to see. Now you might have to, and it looks like I need to blot a little bit again. And don't worry so much about the sides. You can always touch the sides up when you get finished with the front. Because if you remember, when you're doing this type of a paint, if you go out around the edges, around the outside edges, all you want is just really color, just representational on the outside. You don't have to worry about anything being detailed. Oops. I think I want to get one of my bigger little poofy brushes and just soften all that color a little bit. I've got it way too defined. Okay. Let's put some of this deeper purple now up in those clouds. And they're going to be, it's going to kind of be behind oops, had some of the light gray with me. All right. Now, I'm going to take another little worn out brush like this, and I'm going to start putting some just real, take it easy with the highlights because they can get away from you really, really, really quickly. And you'll have to just use your imagination with this because my photograph is not really helping me out. So when you get just a little bit on there, just soften it. That was a blop. Let me blot that real quick because that's a bit too much of a highlight. There's Hubie. What you doing? I said, there's Hubie. What you doing?
Going back to my sawmill project.
Yep, he's working outside at the sawmill today. And it's pretty chilly out there, actually. It's beginning to warm up, but it's been a chilly morning. Okay, right down in here, it's like that sunshine is just popping through some of these openings in the cloud. So let's give this some pretty intense little highlights. Well, you know what? I'm going to use the skinnier brush so that I can be more intentional with where I'm putting these colors. And some of these closer clouds, it looks like that highlight is actually on top. So we'll let them do that. I keep bumping you, I'm sorry. If you remember, you're sitting directly in front of me. I'm having to kind of lean and move everything around to see past this phone. Hair out of there. And I think what I want to do with that little section of mountains or clouds right there is to use that pale gray, because they're actually look highlighted in my photograph, but I don't want them highlighted with the pink because I think they need just this paler color. All right. I have a bird hanging out outside my window right there. Do you see him? It's like he was trying to talk to me or something. I don't know, maybe he's saying I need to put some food out for them as well in this cooler weather. I don't know. A little bit more of this light color up here at the bottom of these clouds, and kind of get rid of the definite line. I don't like that definite line. They need to just be less thought out or something. They're too clouds need to be look like they're just everywhere at once to me. They don't need to look like there's any thought given to them. Oh, UPS down at Chelsea's, and the dogs out here are saying, yeah, what's that big truck doing down there? They do their job, that's for sure. Nobody could sneak up on us. All right. Let's get it clean. All right, they're beginning to look more like clouds, but I know this light is glaring on them, so you're probably having a hard time seeing what I'm doing. Let me get off some of this excess paint. All right, I'm going to pull you back a little bit so I can see. All right. know what? This is what we're going to do. I'm going to encourage you to continue on over in here, like we did right here. And to, well, you know what? We'll just continue. But y'all need to understand this is going to be a really long video. Because I'm actually getting just really tired of this painting. And that is something that you'll find that you will have problems getting really tired of a painting occasionally. And the more you work with it, sometimes the more you'll just get frustrated. So we're just going to finish this painting, guys. If it takes us 2 hours today, we're going to finish this painting because I don't want to come back to it for another session. All right, and I am going to put some highlights on the bottom of these clouds. I think that will kind of help us finish those up. I have a hair there I can't get hold of, so I'll leave them alone. There it is. Okay, and you notice by putting these highlights on these clouds, it makes them look like they're floating out closer to you. Let me pull this back. Can you see what I'm saying? Oops. It brings them more into the foreground. Let's put some highlights on these lower clouds too. All right. There's tons more I could do with these clouds, but I'm going to call it done. Now listen, you'll need to understand that you don't have to stop because I have stopped. It's your painting. You continue on. You play around with that painting till it feels finished to you. And that's what's important. Okay? Don't stop because I've stopped. All right. Let's lower this down a little bit to these rays. And I'm going to use a little bitty skinny brush like this right here. And I'm going to pull from this very palest orange that we mixed earlier today. And I just want to use that. Well, you need to pull it kind of fast so that you can keep your line kind of straight. Oops. My painting slid on me. And that center one is the one that we want to come out the furthest. And to be the most pronounced. These others are just going to be kind of whispery there. Okay. And I'm going to try using this little bitty brush, little skinny brush, and soften that. The straighter you can keep your line, the better. And it's going to be kind of fuzzier toward the top. Now, let's use that more intense orange and attempt to come down the edges of both of all those. Maybe both sides of the one right in the middle. If you have any spots where it looks like the paint has caught on a bump or something, try to just blend it out a little bit because you don't want to have a definite something right there. All right, now we did say we were going to mix some of this green. I'm going to, might use some of this green, and I didn't mix it in the mixing video, but take your olive green and mix just the teeny tiniest little bit of Naples in it. All we're going to want it to do is just to show up. We just want it to show up against that dark background. Okay, we don't need it to pop out at you or anything like that. It just needs to be a whisper of a color. Just a whisper of a color. And I'm using this little brush that I used in the clouds, but I'm going to scrub it out really as clean as I can on my rag. Okay. And we're just going to give little highlights that represent trees. Okay. And this is just up here at the very closest part. Over in here, we'll probably add a little bit of orange. I got a little too much of a blob right there. That had way too much. All right, hold it, hold it, hold it. We don't want that because that particular color, or where I picked it up off of my palette knife, had some of the Naples yellow on it. So let's just blip that back in just a little bit. With I just used a little bit of Payne's Gray just to darken that where I lightened it accidentally. Okay, so don't get down in there. Don't mix it. Don't grab it where you've got your Naples yellow. You want to keep that green a little bit darker. Now, as you come further down and further in, you're going to not use as much. I mean, it'll just be a spot here and there. And don't come over your sun beams at all. Okay. But where the sunbeams are coming through, that's where they're going to probably pick up. I got another spot right there that I didn't intend to get it so thick. So let's touch that. Come in with a little bit of the Payne's Gray. And now let's blot it. And that won't be quite as intensely dark when it dries. Okay, and down in here, turn the camera. Down in here you can get more vivid with the green, because that sun's going to be shining through right there, and we'll be hitting the tops of these trees over here. So let's do that. Just use your imagination, and anywhere you can see where you think the sun would be popping through and hitting the tops of those trees, make it happen. Now I'm going to mix a little bit of that orange in with my green, that darker orange. And came up with a color about like that. And now that's pretty intense color against this dark, so be kind of careful with it. But maybe blot your paintbrush before you touch it in. This kind of makes the painting appear as though it's fall of the year. And just kind of here and there, let it hit the high spots. And it doesn't have to hit everywhere. And as a matter of fact, the fewer spots that you hit with it, it actually, to me, it gives a better optical illusion of being just where that sun is touching. All right. I think that we're going to call this painting finished. I'm not as satisfied with it as I would like to be, but it's the first painting I've done in almost 7 years. So given that, I'm going to say I'm going to be satisfied. All right, let's step back and look at it. I would love to see the paintings that y'all have done. If you can figure out some way to load it into the notes of the comments at the bottom of this video, I would love that. We got to figure out some way to make that happen. And I hope y'all have enjoyed these videos. I can't say I've enjoyed them. I can say that I've been frustrated through them, but that they have benefited me. We'll say that they've benefited me because they've gotten me started back in a good direction, painting again. So that's something. That's something, and I'm going to be happy with that. I've got to work on clouds. I've got to figure out what in the world I used to do to create the clouds that I was happy with, because I used to be happy with the clouds that I created, but I gotta work on clouds. Maybe I need to just watch some YouTube videos. I may do that. All right, y'all. I appreciate so much you're just hanging out with me during these boring videos. I know that they're boring, and especially those of you that are watching them that aren't painting with me. I can't imagine. I've even tried to watch them to figure out, where I needed to make a change here and there, and I have to fast forward through parts of it because they're so boring to me. But you all are precious and you are loved, and I can't wait to see your videos or your paintings. If you can't upload them, send them to my email. My email is mountainbrushworks@yahoo.com, and that is mountainbrushworks@yahoo.com. And that way I'd love to see your paintings. But anyway, I will be looking through my box of photos and determine which one we're going to start on next. And until then, keep painting. Keep painting. I've got to practice and work on some of my skill set. And so hopefully the next painting we do next together, I'll feel a little bit more like a teacher instead of a student. So anyway, and one last thing. Don't forget to sign your painting. Your signature goes in the bottom right-hand corner, typically. I mean, I guess you can sign it anywhere you want to. I had stopped dating mine a long time ago. Some people, they think that's an important thing, and I guess it is. I don't know all the protocol in art, but you can put your little John Hancock and then put the year that you finished it. And when I sign my paintings, I like to keep my signature fairly small, and I like to use a color that is just barely perceptible against the color behind it. And that's because I don't want the signature to be the first thing that your eyes are drawn to. But that's my personal preference. If you want your name to just jump out at people, then make it bold. But anyway, all right. I'm hanging up for now. I love y'all, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.